What if I told you that some of the biggest threats to seniors living alone aren't the ones everyone talks about? We hear about falls and health scares all the time, but there are quieter dangers that can slowly rob you of your independence without you even realizing it's happening. These aren't dramatic emergencies that make the news, but everyday oversights that can turn your golden years into a struggle when they don't have to be. If you're living alone or have a loved one who is, this video could be one of the most important you watch this year. We're going to walk through 8 critical mistakes that too many older adults make when living by themselves, and more importantly, how to avoid them. These aren't just safety tips, they're life changers that can mean the difference between thriving in your independence or slowly losing it, one small compromise at a time. Stay with me until the end, because the final point might completely shift how you think about living alone. It's something most people get backwards, and fixing it could transform everything. Let's dive in. The first mistake is treating your home like it's still the same place it was 20 years ago. Your house hasn't changed, but your body has, and pretending otherwise is dangerous. That step you've been taking for decades might feel familiar, but your balance isn't what it used to be. The lighting that seemed fine before might not be enough now that your vision has shifted. This isn't about admitting defeat, it's about being smart. Adding a handrail here, improving the lighting there, putting down a non-slip rug. These small changes aren't signs of weakness, they're investments in your freedom. Think about it this way. Would you rather spend $50 on a grab bar or $50,000 on a hospital stay? I remember talking to Dorothy, who lived in the same house for 40 years. She knew every creaky floorboard and every light switch. But one evening, that familiar path to the bathroom became treacherous when she couldn't see clearly in the dim light. A simple fall changed everything. Weeks in rehabilitation, months of uncertainty, all because she thought knowing her house was enough. After she recovered, she made those changes she'd been putting off: brighter lights, better railings, clearer pathways. She told me it felt like reclaiming her home. Your environment should work for you, not against you. When your home feels secure, you move through it with confidence, instead of caution. That confidence radiates into everything else you do. The second dangerous habit is playing doctor with your own symptoms. When you live alone, there's no spouse noticing you're moving differently, no family member asking why you seem tired lately. You become your own health monitor, and that can be risky because we're often the worst judges of our own changes. That little ache you're ignoring, the dizzy spell you're brushing off, the cough that's been hanging around, these could be your body's early warning system. When you live by yourself, catching problems early isn't just smart healthcare, it's essential for maintaining your independence. Waiting until something becomes serious often means losing control over your choices. Regular checkups aren't about being paranoid, they're about staying ahead of problems while solutions are still simple. It's much easier to adjust blood pressure medication than to recover from a stroke. It's simpler to treat an infection than to fight pneumonia. Take Frank, a 74-year-old who kept dismissing his shortness of breath as just getting older. He lived alone and figured if it was really serious, he'd know it. By the time he couldn't climb his stairs without stopping, the heart problem that could have been managed easily months earlier now required major intervention. He often says that ignoring his body's signals almost cost him his independence entirely. Your health is your foundation for everything else. Protecting it isn't being overly cautious, it's being wise. When you stay on top of your health, you keep control over your life. If you're getting value from this video, let me know by typing independence in the comments below. And if this is helping you think differently about living alone, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos about thriving in your later years. The third mistake is letting food become an afterthought. When you're cooking for one, it's tempting to open a can of soup, make some toast, or skip meals altogether because preparing real food feels like too much work. But this casual approach to nutrition can quietly undermine everything else you're trying to protect. Your body needs quality fuel now, more than ever. Poor nutrition doesn't just make you feel tired, it makes you more vulnerable to illness, slows your recovery time, and can even affect your mood and memory. Those processed meals might be convenient, but they're not giving you the protein, vitamins, and nutrients that keep you strong and sharp. Good nutrition isn't about following complicated diets or spending hours in the kitchen. It's about consistently giving your body what it needs to support your independence. Even simple changes, like keeping some frozen vegetables on hand, buying pre-cooked proteins, or preparing larger portions to eat throughout the week, can make a huge difference. Marie, an 80-year-old widow, fell into the habit of living on crackers and tea because cooking felt overwhelming after her husband passed. She didn't realize how much her energy had declined until her daughter visited and noticed how frail she'd become. With some gentle guidance and simple meal ideas, Marie started eating properly again. Within weeks, she felt stronger, her mood improved, and she found herself wanting to get out and do things again. Nourishing yourself properly is an act of self-respect. When you eat well, you feel better, think clearer, and have the energy to enjoy your independence instead of just surviving it. The fourth trap is letting loneliness sneak up on you. Living alone doesn't have to mean being lonely, but it's easy to let social connections fade without realizing it's happening. You skip a phone call here, decline an invitation there, and before you know it, days or even weeks can pass without meaningful conversation. This isolation isn't just uncomfortable, it's actually dangerous for your health. Studies show that chronic loneliness can be as harmful as smoking or obesity. It weakens your immune system, increases your risk of depression, and can even accelerate cognitive decline. Human beings are wired for connection, and when we don't get it, our bodies and minds suffer. Staying connected doesn't mean you need to be social every day or have a huge circle of friends. It means being intentional about maintaining the relationships that matter to you. A weekly coffee with a neighbor, regular phone calls with family, joining a community group, even volunteering somewhere. These connections keep your spirit alive and give you support when you need it. Consider William, a 77-year-old who gradually stopped answering his phone and declined invitations because he felt like he was bothering people. Months passed in silence until a concerned neighbor knocked on his door. That conversation led him back to his weekly card game, and he realized how much he'd missed not just the activity, but the laughter and friendship that came with it. Your relationships are lifelines, not luxuries. Nurturing them keeps you connected not just to other people, but to joy, purpose, and the richness that makes life worth living. Make sure to let me know you're following along by commenting "connection" below. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more insights about living your best life at any age. The fifth overlooked danger is letting your living space become an obstacle course. It happens gradually, a newspaper here, a pair of shoes there, maybe some boxes you haven't dealt with yet. None of it seems dangerous until you're navigating around it in the dark, or when you're not feeling your steadiest. Clutter isn't just untidy, it's hazardous. Most serious injuries for seniors happen at home, often from tripping over something that didn't need to be there in the first place. A clear path through your home isn't about having a perfect house. It's about protecting your ability to move safely and confidently through your own space. Beyond safety, clutter affects your state of mind. When your environment is chaotic, it's harder to feel calm and in control. A clean, organized space supports clearer thinking and reduces the constant low-level stress that comes from always having to navigate around obstacles. This doesn't mean you need to get rid of everything meaningful to you. It means being thoughtful about what you keep and where you keep it. Clear pathways, organized storage, and removing things you don't actually need or use creates a home that supports you instead of working against you. Agnes, an 83-year-old, loved her collections and couldn't bear to part with anything. Her home became increasingly crowded until she could barely move through it safely. After a small fall that could have been much worse, her family helped her reorganize. She kept the things that truly mattered, but created clear, safe spaces. She said it felt like she could breathe again in her own home. Your home should be your sanctuary, not your challenge. When it's organized and safe, you can relax and enjoy it instead of constantly worrying about navigating through it. The sixth critical mistake is getting careless with medications. When you live alone, there's no one to double-check if you took your pills, remind you of the right dosage, or notice if you accidentally took something twice. These small errors might not seem serious, but they can lead to dangerous complications or emergency situations. Many older adults take multiple medications, and keeping track of them all can be genuinely challenging. Missing doses, taking too much, or mixing medications incorrectly can cause dizziness, confusion, dangerous interactions, or worse. The side effects can be subtle at first, making you feel off without understanding why. Managing medications properly isn't complicated, but it does require a system. A weekly pill organizer, setting phone reminders, keeping a simple list, or asking your pharmacist to help coordinate your prescriptions can prevent dangerous mistakes. These aren't signs that you're losing independence, they're tools that help you maintain it safely. James, a 79-year-old, often couldn't remember if he'd taken his heart medication, so sometimes he'd skip it and other times he'd take it twice, just to be safe. This left him feeling constantly unwell and confused. Once he started using a pill organizer and keeping a simple chart, his symptoms cleared up and he felt like himself again. Your medications are meant to help you, but only if you take them correctly. A little organization in this area can make a huge difference in how you feel and how safely you can live independently. Let me know you're still with me by typing "health" in the comments, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell if you're finding this valuable. The seventh mistake is being too casual about money management. Living alone means there's no second set of eyes on your finances, no one to notice if bills are piling up or if something seems off with your accounts. Financial mistakes that might be caught quickly in a household with multiple people can go unnoticed until they become serious problems. This isn't just about big mistakes like falling for scams, though that's certainly a risk. It's also about smaller oversights like missed payments, overlooked bills, or not keeping track of spending. These can damage your credit, result in late fees, or even put essential services at risk. Scammers specifically target older adults living alone because they assume no one else is monitoring what's happening. Phone calls about fake emergencies, phony charity requests, or offers that seem too good to be true are designed to take advantage of people who might not have someone else to talk through these situations with. Protecting your finances doesn't require becoming an expert. It just requires staying organized and alert. setting up automatic bill payments, reviewing statements regularly, being skeptical of unsolicited offers, and having someone you trust to discuss major financial decisions with can protect you from both honest mistakes and deliberate fraud. Ruth, an 81-year-old, was proud of managing her own finances, but had gotten overwhelmed by the paperwork. Bills started getting lost in the pile, and she missed several payments without realizing it. Once she set up a simple filing system and automatic payments for her regular bills, the stress disappeared, and she regained control over her finances. Financial security gives you peace of mind and protects your independence. When your money management is solid, you can focus on enjoying life instead of worrying about it. The eighth and most damaging mistake is refusing help when you need it. Many people equate asking for assistance with losing independence, but the opposite is actually true. Refusing reasonable help when you need it can lead to dangerous situations that ultimately rob you of far more independence than accepting support ever would. This isn't about major life changes or giving up control over your decisions. It's about recognizing when a little help keeps you safer and more comfortable. Asking a neighbor to check on you after a storm, letting family help with grocery shopping, or accepting assistance with tasks that have become difficult isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Pride can be dangerous when it prevents you from getting support that would actually preserve your ability to live independently. The goal isn't to do everything yourself, it's to maintain your quality of life and safety while living on your own terms. Many people discover that accepting help actually strengthens relationships and creates a support network that makes living alone feel less isolated. When you let others assist you occasionally, you often find opportunities to help them in return, creating bonds that enrich everyone involved. Consider Edward, an 85-year-old who insisted on doing all his own yard work, even though it had become exhausting and risky. After a mild injury, he finally accepted his neighbour's offer to help with the heavy tasks. Not only did this keep him safer, but the shared work led to a friendship that made his retirement much more enjoyable. True independence isn't about doing everything alone, it's about making smart choices that keep you living the life you want. Sometimes that means accepting help so you can focus your energy on the things that matter most to you. As we wrap up, think about which of these 8 points resonated most with you. Maybe it was the reminder about home safety, or the importance of staying connected with others, or perhaps the realization that asking for help can actually protect your independence rather than threaten it. Living alone successfully isn't just about managing the practical details. It's about creating a life that feels secure, connected, and fulfilling. Every small change you make, whether it's organizing your medications, reaching out to a friend, or making your home safer, builds a stronger foundation for the independence you've worked so hard to maintain. The difference between struggling with living alone and thriving while living alone often comes down to avoiding these common pitfalls. You don't have to wait for problems to develop. You can take control now and create the safest, most satisfying living situation possible. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 8 points spoke to you most, and what's one change you're thinking about making? Your insights might help other viewers who are facing similar challenges. If this video gave you some useful ideas, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss our future videos about living your best life at every age. Thanks for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.